Yes, I'm Michele Buster from Forever Cheese. We are a company that is specialized in cheeses from Italy, Spain, Portugal, and Croatia. Today, we're going to focus on one particular cheese and region. The cheese is called Bianco Sardo. Bianco means white, and Sardo refers to Sardinia. So we'll talk about this particular cheese and other cheeses from Sardinia. So one's from young, aging. On here, you can see different levels. All the way off to the right is young cheese. It hasn't grown any mold yet, or it's natural rind. And the ones here, the middle ones is all the mold forming to help form the rind when it hasn't been scraped off. And that just keeps building. And I hope you find that beautiful, because I find this really beautiful. Mold is so important to the development of a cheese. Without mold, for so many different cheeses, it's just really not cheese, because a cheese will be aged in a lot of humidity, just like in a cave. So you have all of that air and that dampness and things like that. So molds are naturally in the atmosphere, and they attach themselves to the humid part of the outside of the rind of the cheese. And you leave them, and so many times if you have cheese here that you see that is just really clean on it, it's just because it's been cleaned off before it comes here. But there are other cheeses that stay with what we call a natural rind, where the mold is just left on, and maybe it'll be brushed. But then the ones that get totally wiped off go through like a big, I call it like the car wash. So it'll go through these big brushes if you're doing a shoe shine. And then you'll wipe that mold off, and then you'll package it in a vacuum seal to keep the mold. But the mold actually helps the cheese develop in so many different styles of it. And if mold never grows on cheese when you've had it at home, it's when you should get worried, not the reverse. If you have mold on the cheese, then say, oh, thank God. I know that there aren't a ton of preservatives that somebody's put on here and chemicals, so my cheese is healthy. I'll just take a damp cloth and wipe it off, or I will maybe add some olive oil, and we'll get to that. That's why we have some wonderful olive oil in this too, which is, you probably are saying, you know, why do we have an olive oil as a cheese accompaniment? It's not really as a cheese accompaniment. There are some fun things you can do with it, and then it's just a fun product.